Will my breeding pair of clownfish continue to lay eggs after moving to a new home? Well, in today's video, that is exactly what I'll be testing. While my pair of clownfish have been doing great and constantly laying eggs in this tank, I am in the process of redoing my tank room, and I really didn't like where I put my clownfish. But I don't just want to drain the water and move it. Instead, they will be moving into a much bigger tank and a much better spot to view them. First things first, I need to move this futon, because this is going to be where the new stand will go. I won't have you watch me put this new stand together, so instead, here's a time lapse of the clownfish tank for the entire time it took me to build it. And it's complete. I already went out and bought the new tank. I went with another all-in-one setup where the filter media goes on the back of the tank instead of a hang-on-the-back filter or a separate external one. This tank came with everything I needed to get it up and running. It also came with this foam mat to help keep the tank level. After I got the tank set on top of the mat, it was time to set up the filter part of the tank. I went ahead and put the pump in the back of the tank and then added a nozzle onto the front. Then whatever this thing is, I'm not sure exactly what this does, but apparently it also goes in the back of the tank. Next, I added in the filter media it came with, and lastly, the filter sponge. I'm also going to take the filter media that's in their current setup and move it in with them. This will keep their tank water cycled, so that process will already be done. I won't be able to move them right now because they currently have a clutch of eggs they are protecting in their clay pot. Since it's already stressful enough moving them, taking them while they also currently have eggs makes it worse for them. They are also more aggressive at the moment and will try and bite me if I come anywhere close to this pot. So it's best to just wait until this clutch of eggs is gone. Now all that's missing for the new tank is a lid and a light. The lid is necessary because clownfish can jump out of the tank and I don't want to end up with a dead fish. After about a week of waiting, the eggs were almost all gone. And the lid had finally arrived for the new tank. So I went ahead and installed it on top. I waited another day for the last couple of eggs to disappear so I could get them ready to move into their new home. I started by removing the female clown because she was the easiest to catch. Next was the male, and it took a little bit to chase him down, but eventually I was able to catch him. I also grabbed the urchin. Then I started to drain the water. I'm going to keep half of the water to go into the new tank as well. I removed all of the equipment like the wave pump, light, and filter pump. But I'm still going to need the rest of the stuff in this tank, like the rock, clay pot, and sand. I need to set up the new tank quickly to keep all the beneficial bacteria from the filter media alive. So I got to work adding in all of the sand to the bottom and spreading it all around to create an even layer. I want to keep this tank as close to the same setup as possible because I want to have the best chance for them to continue to lay eggs. Changing things around the tank may make it take longer or stop them from laying altogether. So I put the clay pot back into the tank. Next, I added in the live rock. This thing has tons of beneficial bacteria all over it, and whatever these stringy worm-looking things are. I tried to put it in as close to the same spot as the other setup. I also took the filter sponge from the old tank and the filter media to add into the back. Now it's time to fill the tank with water. I started with the old water, and then mixed in some new salt water at the correct salinity level to encourage egg laying for the clownfish. I put the wave pump on and added a light to the top. I got everything cleaned up and wiped down the outside of the glass. And here's the finished product. Right now it's still a little cloudy, but that'll clear up very quickly. This is still a breeding setup, so I don't have any plans right now to change up the tank layout. But after I get some eggs to hatch and raise some clownfish, I'll start to add things like more rocks and maybe an anemone to this tank. Now it was time to add the clownfish. So I started with the female first and dropped her in. Then I added in the male and the urchin. They both swam back and forth across the tank for a few minutes and kept coming back underneath the wave pump. But after a little while, they had found their old clay pot home. Now that they had found it, I knew they weren't going to come out anytime soon after having to go through a move. So I left them alone for a little while. When I came back to check on them, they were still in the clay pot. This is very normal for them. They don't typically come out of the pot. Most times they come out, it's just when I come by the tank or when it's time to feed them. When it seemed like they were settled in, I decided to feed them. I dropped in some pellets and right away both of them started to go after the food. This was a great sign that they were both doing well in the new tank. Now the urchin was taking comfort in the clay pot. So now that the move had been successful, it was just time to wait and see if they would continue to lay eggs. The next day, I noticed tons of particles floating all around the water. So I checked the back of the tank and noticed it was filled too much and not using the filter sponge to get rid of all of these particles. It looks like I put my auto top off sensor a little too high, causing it to fill the back up way too much. While I was trying to fix it, the female clown kept coming up to the top of the water trying to bite me. She must not like me so much after the move. After I fixed the problem, it started looking a lot better. The particles started to clear up. About a week later, and still no eggs, so I just have to wait. Hopefully they didn't just stop laying for good. One night, I started to take a closer look at their pot, and they had actually just cleaned it out. This typically means they could be ready to lay their eggs. They had also kicked the urchin out of the pot. The next day when I looked inside of the pot, they had finally done it. Hundreds of new clownfish eggs were all over the bottom of the pot. They are completely settled into their new home now. Since they've gotten back to laying eggs, I'll start going through the process of culturing food for the clownfish fry again. Once I get all that set back up, I'll make another attempt at raising some baby clownfish. About 2 days later, the eggs were starting to turn from the bright orange to a darker color. This is normal, and since the eggs are still here, that means the clownfish are doing great so far. Now that I've gotten this tank fully moved, I've been able to redo the room. I've already got another tank waiting to be filled for a video in the future. And there's still a lot more space to add more for future videos. I'm currently in the process of recording a video for my larger predator tank. It's a little cloudy right now because there is something currently doing construction work underneath the rocks. I've got more videos coming, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss them. Thanks for watching.